Hey, what's going on guys, it's Ethan here from the Military AutoSource Lakenheath Commissary Office, and today I'm going to be doing a test ride and review of this 2018 Harley Davidson Breakout. Now I'm doing this video slightly differently to the way I usually do it. I do it in a first person perspective rather than a third person like I've done in the past, just to mix things up and see which ways looks better. So let me know in the comments below which way you prefer so I know which way to do it in the future. So this bike, I've had a lot of different stories about the bike. A lot of people have told me this is a bike more for the experienced riders and not for the new riders because of the rake on the front and the massive rear tyre. It just makes handling a little bit different to your standard bikes out there, so you might not be as used to it as a new rider, but as an experienced rider this might be something you could look into to get a bit more thrill out of. Coming to the front of the bike here, you've got these nice fat drag star bars up here. The black, because this bike has a colour scheme of black and chrome, which looks good. So black bars, and then you've got the sport suspension here, which is all chromed out, which looks good. And then you've got a nice design headlight up the front there. And then coming down, you've got a nice spoked aluminium chrome and black wheel, which looks good. And then front tyre, which is nice and slim. And then, so that's the front. Coming around to the side, got a 3.5 gallon tank, which gets 47 miles per gallon, so you won't be stopping as much to fuel up and all that because of how big the tank is and how good the fuel economy on it is. Then underneath that is the 114 Milwaukee 8 engine, powerful engine, 120 foot-pounds of torque, so a lot of torque in that. And then coming out of that, you got your 2x2 chrome into black exhaust. Looks nice, nice looking exhaust, again same color scheme, chrome and black, with mid-mount controls, and all that sits in the new Softail frame, which is just stiffer and lighter, so it performs much better. Coming to the rear of the bike here, you got a massive rear hugger. Now this has to be big because it houses this massive 240mm rear tyre, which is huge. So it's got a lot of rubber on the ground, so you're going to have a lot of traction from the torque that this bike produces, so shouldn't see as much spinning with all the power that it's got, so that's a good feature for the bike. But that's what makes handling a little bit more different to your standard bikes out there. And then coming down here, got your little USB port as well, which is quite nice. You can charge your phone or something when you're out on the bike. So I'm going to get on the bike, I'm going to take it for a ride. We'll talk more about it when we're out on the road. So it got it's no key needed for the bike, so I've got a key in my pocket. You flick the switch, it detects the keys around, start it up, and I'll just take it for a ride. So we've just ridden off base now, and just while I was riding off, I realised the seat is comfortable again, like all the other Harleys I've ridden, and again the control is really good for your feet positioning. Someone short like me, I'm 5'10", I'm not too short, but you know, 5'11" on a good day. The foot controls are good, legs aren't too cramped, not too folded or anything, they're perfect position. And then the tyre, it is big, I can feel it's big, but I can still lean the bike around, not with too many issues. I don't feel like I'm going too wide or anything like that, so I can feel the tyres there, but I've been riding for a few years now, so I'd like to say I'm a little bit more comfortable with riding, and I can control it. So I can see for a new rider it's a little bit hard, but for someone that's had a few years riding experience, you shouldn't have too many issues with it. But because it is the 114 engine, we're just going to give it a bit of throttle here and see the power of the bike come out again, and then lean it through the corner. It's not too, you don't have to think too much about it, about the leaning, so it's not too bad. So hopefully this car in front turns right, so we can again just show you again the, yeah, there you go, to show you the power again of the bike from about 20 miles per hour. Nope, he's slowing down more. Yeah, so about 20 miles per hour, I'm going to give it full throttle in second gear. It goes really well. It's got the torque again, 120 foot-pounds of torque, and it's not too heavy. It's about 671 pounds or something like that, with all the Ural in it. So that's wet weight. It's not too heavy. It's got good torque, good power, and it's quite comfortable. I'm not having issues leaning. Again, as I said earlier, I can see a new rider may struggle a little bit with it, but for me it's not too bad. Again, torque all around in all gears, it's good. Looking down here at the gauge, really easy to read like all the other Harleys that we've been on. kind of similar layout. It's got your miles at the bottom. I've got it set on range right now, so I've got 20 miles left in my gas tank. Got your bars of fuel on the left there. Just leaning through this corner. Yeah, it leans fine. Your throttle on the way out. Cool. So it's got your top right, it's got your gear indicator, so you know what gear you're in. And then you can flick through again with this button up here, go through your range, your time, your RPM, and your trip and stuff. So you got trip A and trip B. What I'm going to do is give it throttle, get up to about 60 miles per hour. I'm going to use my rear brake and show you that she stops really quick. So I'm at 30 miles per hour. So I've already knocked off a lot of speed there in no time with just the rear brake. I didn't even touch the front brake. So rear brake's really good. I'll test the front brake when I get further along this road down here. A lot of bikes out today. It's finally getting nice weather. It's just been raining for the last week, so everyone's taking advantage of it. But let's go through the gears again. So I'm in second, third, and I'm going to stop there because I don't want to go too fast, but there's fourth gear as well. Now my arms, as you can see in the other camera down here, depends what the footage looks like, we might use it, but my arms, they're not too stretched or anything, they're nice, relaxed. The bars are nice, not too far forward, not too far back again, so my seating position is upright. And then again, my legs are nice and straight. And when I come to a stop as well, because it's a narrow seat at the front, again, my feet can go on the floor really flat, because it's only 26 inches from the ground up to the seat, so it's not too tall for me. So my nice little stubby feet can fit the ground. There's a little corner up here, nothing too aggressive. I'm going to go a little bit faster through it, just show you. Leaning the bike isn't too hard. I can feel the difference between the front and back wheel, but for a normal weekend ride out on the twisty roads, it won't be too bad. Obviously, because the pegs are so low, you won't be able to lean it through all the corners like you're on a sport bike or anything, but that's not what the bike's made for. It's made for having just comfortable long cruises through twisties with three of your mates out there. So I do quite like it. I was expecting it to be a little bit harder to ride with the things that I've heard, but leaning, not hard at all. All I'm doing is pushing forward with my right arm, left arm, pushing forward, and it leans fine. You don't need to use your body or anything like that. So I still agree, for a new rider, yeah, it's probably not the right bike to choose, but for an experienced rider, it's a really stylish bike, really comfortable bike. It's quite fun to ride as well. It's got the power, got a fourth gear, full throttle, it's straight up to 60, no issues at all. It's the front brake, stops really quick. So for an experienced rider, definitely 100% would recommend it. I'm on the bumps right now, I can feel it, but it's nothing too crazy with the new front suspension. And then you got your adjustable rear monoshock as well, which I've adjusted a little bit, how to play around with it. Feels really comfortable on the setting it's on right now for me. So we're just pulling back into the commissary here, and I can say the ride was good. It was good fun. I do agree with the people out there that are saying this bike is probably not for the beginners. Let's move down a gear. Because you can feel that the back tyre is massive, the front tyre is smaller, and the steering is a little bit different to your normal bike out there. But for someone that's had a little bit of biking experience, I've been riding for a few years now, I don't find it too hard. You can adjust to it really easily. So if you're an experienced rider and you are in the market for one of these bikes, definitely come down to the commissary and see myself, Ethan, and my dad Chris, because we're both riders. We'll show you all around the bike, we'll get you out on a ride if you've got a license. I mean, if you're an experienced rider, I do hope you have a license, but we'll get you out on a ride. You can see how the bike handles for yourself, and then here you can see just round in circles. So obviously it's nothing too extreme, but it's doing it no problem at all. So yeah, pop down to the commissary, talk to myself, Ethan, or my dad Chris. We'll help you out, we'll show you around the bike, get you out on a ride, and hopefully you have fun on it. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys later.